Not everybody likes to pass underneath, mostly often because we're usually starting our pass and we're usually passing from our feet, right? You want to pass standing, but there's going to be times when you're rolling where you're going to find yourself in that position off of a failed submission attempt by your opponent or whatever else. You're going to find yourself in the over-under position or double under. Whether you like that pass or not, it's there and you need to know how to take it if that happens, okay? But now we're going to work the counter. The first most important thing on this counter is just that distance, right? For him to pass with an underpass, he needs to get my knees close to my chest. If he can't get my knee past my hip, okay, here's my hip line. If he can't get my knee past my hip line, he's never going to pass underneath my legs. So if he tries to pass from there, it's just no way, especially if you're just getting heavy, right? So I lift my hips up, I chop my heel down, very, very difficult. He goes the other way, I do the same thing. And the other thing I'll do is I'll connect my heels to his body. So I'm chopping down, but I'm also kind of biting into Liam's body. So now he tries to lift either way, and I can shift my weight, right? And when I find a moment, I'm going to move myself back and get 1 foot to a hip. As soon as I have 1 foot to a hip, I have more leverage to control. Okay, so he reaches double under. I'm heavy, chopping my leg down, move myself, get 1 foot to the hip. Or if he's very, very strong, keep your hands underneath, I'll swim 1 foot into a butterfly hook. Once I get that butterfly hook, now it's physically impossible for him to pass that way. And usually if I get that, I'll trap the hand, just so he can't have his hand back, right? Now he's going to keep trying to pass that way. There's nothing going to happen there, okay? And there's a nice little submission that is, I want you to be aware of, that I'll show you here in a minute. But the first thing I want you guys to focus on is that distance, being heavy, and chopping, biting your heels into his body, and then getting a foot to the hip or between the legs to completely kill that pass, okay? Go ahead and try it. Now, if I'm late and he gets my foot to his shoulder, this is another ball game, right? As he starts to come in, now what I have to do is I have to try and control this line here. So as he goes to pass, I go to his elbow or his shoulder and look to move my hip out, okay? So go to the shoulder and then go to pass. Notice I'm not trying to push him away, right? Once I hold him in place, I make a frame, go slow. I make a frame, and then I want to move away from the frame, okay? So that's your next one. I'm not posting on the hip. If they have good passing, good weight pressure, posting on the hip's not going to work for you. It's the lever itself. Before you, scoot yourself down underneath my leg first. Okay. Yes. Now as he starts to go, right? If I go here to Liam's hip and he's got good passing, he's just going to crush that frame, right? So it's the arm I'm working on. Sometimes it depends on how he grabs, but sometimes the elbow or sometimes up in the armpit, see, depending on how he grabs. Here, I usually go right here, thumb down, right in the armpit, right? And as he starts to pass now, I can hold him in place. And that's a common defensive grip we use a lot of different ways. So I'm going to give you one more place where this kind of movement comes into play. It might seem unrelated right now, but it's not. And we're going to work from cross sides. Partner's at cross sides and he's facing my head. Sit up and face my head with underhook. Good. So this kind of position, right? I want to make sure, where does he want to be? He wants to be on the line of my shoulders, so he wants to be up here. That's where I don't want him to be. So I'm going to start in a somewhat better position. You always want to keep your elbows to your rib cage. So I'm here. I don't want him to get up underneath. So he tries to get underneath my elbows. I'm always walking my shoulders back to defend that space. All right, walk my shoulders back. My hands are just kind of here. If he goes to hit me, I can defend here pretty good, right? Now, a lot of times what people will do from here, if he realizes he can't climb up higher, is he's going to switch and turn to face my legs, maybe to mount, something like that. Good. That's going to be the transition, okay? When I feel that transition, go. I'm going to use the same movement to escape. Okay, so we'll go one more time. That's the movement. So this is all about the skinny X. Everybody lay on your back. Go like this with your hands so your elbows are touching your rib cage. Your hands are over to your right. We're going to pretend they're on your right side. I'm just going to straighten out my left leg and roll to my left hip like this. Now my hand goes down towards where my left foot is. And my left arm goes behind me. And I build a base and I sit up. My hand touches the bottom of my feet. Okay? The mistake people make on this is they try and push up. I'm not pushing up. I'm pushing down like you're rolling a barbell off your, or a bench press off your body. Okay, so you're here, and it's just a rolling motion. And as long as you get that angle, come here, Todd. As long as my angle is correct, here, they're relatively light, right? And it'll feel pretty easy to do because, and that angle is going to be that skinny X line, okay? I want to try that because that fits into guard retention. Anytime somebody's coming with an underpass, you're going to be using that kind of motion, and those are the angles that I'm hitting when I'm defending my guard. So even that's a cross-side escape, it's exactly the same kind of thing you do as the person's passing around. Two things ruin this besides the angle, right? One is as you sit up, your frame collapses, so you'll do this. Once I lock my arm out, whether he does do an underpass, he's passing under. Once I lock my arm out, that angle of my arm that's gonna stay locked. I'm never gonna break that frame, okay? Two is at any moment he could base out and post, or he could be super heavy, right? So pass under on this leg. I go here and he posts, or he's just heavy, right? Move yourself away. Just start moving yourself away. Moment you feel he stops moving, just move your hips away. Your hips are free, you got your guard back, you can take his back, do whatever, okay? So again, we'll go slow on this one. He turns, my arm is extended. That extension stays there the whole time. He posts, just move myself away. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for frequent updates because we're updating this every week, and make sure you comment and like and share our videos. We appreciate it, and we definitely try and respond to all the comments. And if you like what we're doing and you like the material, check out SBG University, SBGU, and you're going to see a ton more in much greater depth than what you see here on YouTube. Thank you very much.